Kira with Polymer Clay TV, and today I'm going to show you how to use our fun new hole in the middle cutters to create dimensional domed pieces of art with a hole in the middle for you to do fun stuff. Let's start. In order to make this particular shape, I used the larger of the nested triangles, and this is made so that there's an exact shape cut out of the middle. So Elisa and I get excited about different things. You know, she likes being able to cut that center piece out and put something behind it like this. Whereas I saw the opportunity to make a large shape that I could then fill. So to make this, all I did is I conditioned and rolled out some clay to the thickest setting on my pasta machine, and then I doubled it up, so I had a double layer. And then I used my plastic wrap technique, so I'm going to loosely lay a piece of plastic wrap over this while I cut my piece of clay. So I'm cutting through two pieces and making this nice high shape. And then when I remove the cutter, I've got the shape domed and protected by the plastic wrap. And then you can remove that center piece, and now you've got your outer edge. And then I'm going to roll a piece of this thinner to make the backing. So this piece is quite a bit thinner, to about a number 4 on the pasta machine. And depending on whether you did this on if it was on a tile, I would just scoop it off with my blade. But since it's on Teflon, I'm gonna just peel it off and place it on this other piece and lightly press down. All of this can be cleaned up later with my rubber tools or something, so I'm not too worried about the cleanup. And as I cut around the edge, it's going to pretty much bond the two pieces together. And cut off any little fiddly bits that are sticking out the sides from the 3D cutting process, because sometimes 3D cutters leave little edges that you have to clean up. It's the trade-off that you get for having these really unique shapes. So then you can just blend your seams and make sure everything is nice and tight, because if you're doing Pebeo or a paint pour or something like I did, you want everything to be closed so that the paint or resin doesn't leak out. And then I just used some of these little guys, which you can find at hardware stores and stuff, and I just put them right in here. They're screw eyes, so if you press them into your clay and then gently press around them, they're not going to come out because they've got teeth. And then you can bake it. And it depends now. You get to make all your design decisions, because if you wanted to, you could put more. You could do an edge, you could cut, you could extrude, you could do whatever you want. You could stamp something, stamp a design to put going around the outer edge of it. You could make a frame. I chose not to on the piece that I did because I knew I was going to be like doing the pour over the sides, and I didn't want that to get damaged by the Pebeo. But if you were going to make a frame for that paint pour type thing, you would have to bake it separately if it's the Pebeo paints, because you can't bake them. So my pendant will stay as it is. So I'll show you how to pour the paint. This is the piece that I prepared and baked so I could show you this whole process. So I'm going to just take it off its tile, and I'm going to set up a paint pour, and I'm going to use the smaller of the two triangles to hold this up, because I really don't want to mess up my cutter. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put it inside of here, like so. Okay, so now whatever dribbles over the side will get caught on my, it could go onto the Teflon, no biggie, but this will just make it easy for me to put it right away and throw it out. So this is one of my favorite colors. This is Marina Prism, and it's a fantasy paint. And the way that we get this ready is by stirring it. And it has mica particles on the bottom, so you really need to stir well and get it all mixed up. Don't shake it, that'll just put bubbles in it, and it won't scrape the mica off the bottom of the jar. So you really need to see those swirls of mica. Okay, so that's one thing you need to do, is stir your paint. I also really wanted to use some Cern relief because it gives a little different look. So I'm going to go right over, kind of liberally, and I've got to obviously get the hang of this because I want it to come out in big, long, here we go. Like come over the edges and go down inside the well. And I'll clean up the overflow later. Doesn't matter to me right now. I'm trying to get it to flow like icing. But I basically want it to just kind of zigzag across my surface and come off over the sides. Because now I'm going to take a pipette, and that's how I'm going to do this. So after it's stirred and ready, I'm going to fill a pipette with this paint so that I can then fill this well with a nice thick layer of it. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to dribble it across my piece. That's why I needed the plastic wrap. So now we're just going to sit and wait and watch this develop. And I'm going to try and get it to really not be sticking to the edges and bottom of this, and to really just come off onto, like flow and fall off onto the plastic wrap. Because I don't really want it to be sitting in a puddle of paint. That's not the effect I'm looking for. You can clean out your pipette using odorless mineral spirits if you want to keep it, or you can just dispose of it, either way. And I'm going to do some detail work here. I want this to be pushed down inside the paint, so I'm going to break it off. And because I'm a glitterholic, I'm going to use some glitter medium as well. So I'm just going to stir this. And you can see the little areas starting to form in there, the little cells of color. I'm just going to drop some glitter right in the middle, like that, and Put some little spots of it around. It's the glitter medium is like a varnish, so it'll be shiny wherever you have it. And it'll flow and push the other paint around a little bit. So I like seeing what happens. All right, so that's enough. I don't want it to be overly glittery. And just cap up all your paints and wait for this to set up and dry before you start handling it. Let's see the finished piece. So here it is. Keep in mind that the Pebeo paint takes a while to dry, so this deep pocket of it is going to take a few days before you want to be handling it. The rest of it is nice and shiny and dry, and you can see the different textures and the glitter. It's a lot of fun. So I hope this gave you some ideas about how you can use this style of cutter, not just to make the plain shape, but also to make these highly domed areas where you can put other stuff down in the middle. Get this out of the way. I can imagine resin or liquid clay poured in this hole with seashells or moss or glitter, all kinds of fun things put down in there to make a really interesting little area to look at. So I hope that gave you some ideas and that you'll join us in polymerclaytribe.com to share your thoughts and share what you make, and also come over to polymerclaytv.com to see hundreds of projects where we share our ideas and techniques and show you how to make really fun polymer clay art. See you next time.